Hello there, my name is Garrett, and I'm happy here to share with you a little demo and walkthrough of this project I've been working on for the last 2 months. This is a virtual reality simulation of a stage, and the idea is to augment a traditional ELA curriculum in a high school as part of perhaps a virtual reality lab, or perhaps in other professional settings. Or just for entertainment. And what we've done is we've taken this, I've I say we, I hired a lot of freelance programmers and modelers to create some of these resources. So this is the Globe Theater, a model I had outsourced to create. And so part of this app would be just about exploring this space in 3D and being able to walk around down here and walk through Shakespeare's stage here in first person mode and look around to get a feeling for actually being there and what made it special and how the audience was close to the stage and how all that kind of mattered. So that's a piece of the app, just being able to be in that 3D space and get a sense of scale instead of just looking at a picture in a textbook. And so we've done that. There's another model I have of a Roman stage space, but I won't go into that here. So beyond the model, I also took open domain data, which was the Shakespeare play itself, the text data, and I chose to go with Julius Caesar for the demo here. So here's the complete Julius Caesar play, and I have the text data, and then I also took the audio from LibriVox.org, which is open domain audio performances. So we can, or I can, or anybody could take this audio and do whatever they want with it. Totally open domain, open copyright. So we were able to stitch that stuff together and put it and punctuate it and script it such that the main user here could choose a character from the play and have the lines delivered to them. So let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to run play on my little Unity 5 game engine here. And so here I am on the stage walking around. I'm not in virtual reality right now.
Enter Brutus and Cassius and a throng of citizens.
So here are the characters coming out, and we went with these little color blobs right now for characters instead of actually full models.
We will be satisfied. Let us be satisfied.
So the citizens just spoke. They delivered their line in audio. Now I'm Brutus, and so my line comes to me on the in text like this. Obviously, this is something that an actor would never have. They have to memorize the lines. But we figured for the trial we could have it just presented to somebody like this, so that anybody could pick this up without having to rehearse it. So now it's my turn to speak. Then follow me and give me audience, friends. Cassius, go you into the other street, and blah 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 blah.
I will hear Brutus speak. I will hear Cassius and compare their reasons, when severally we hear them rendered.
Exit Cassius with some of the citizens. Brutus goes into the pulpit.
So there goes Cassius. Now Brutus is going to try and talk and calm down the citizens. Caesar's just been killed. That's kind of high stakes public speaking.
He is essentially silence.
So here's my speech, Brutus's famous speech. Friends, Romans, countrymen, I give the speech.
None, Brutus, none.
The none have I offended, and I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. The question of his death is enrolled in the Capitol.
Enter Antony and others with Caesar's body.
So here comes Antony and etc. So you can see how being up there and kind of delivering these lines, it's kind of like an automatic reader's theater, where instead of relying on people to be there, you can kind of do it by yourself and choose different characters to play while kind of looking around and moving around on the stage. It is kind of an augmented experience. It's not quite full virtual reality. And I don't have my headset on right now. You can play the game just as a standard game, or you can play it with the virtual reality. So I just wanted to give you a demo so we could show you this way. A lot of limitations here, but it was a proof of concept of how a teacher with very little budget might be able to put together a virtual reality simulation, and how the technology is really evolving, and some of the outcomes, some of the outlets, some of the affordances for this new stuff, where it might be very quickly. And so one of the strongest areas, one of the things I'm most proud of about this project was the fact that the programmer, which helped with the project, which I hired to do some of this, actually developed a script language by itself, which is something that he's made intuitive or somewhat intuitive, where I could actually just code additional plays by myself. So I could take any open domain play with the audio and then direct the play without having to do any advanced programming. The shell, the architecture of the programming is here, so that with a bit more work, this is a game that could be useful very quickly for students and teachers out there, and with a number of plays, right? The entire Shakespeare's library could be put in here, and I could code that. It'd be pretty tedious. I might want to outsource that as well. There's a lot of stuff that this says that I want to do with this. One of them is put an audience in here. That's such an important part of performance, is having that audience and having audience reaction. And it feels a little strange being in here without an audience. And that's something that really came up out of after I designed the game. I didn't think about that as I was first designing it. I was just thinking about feasibility. And then once I got in here, it was like, this is so empty, right? So, and it's such a core part of drama and the media itself. So audience is big. The other part is capturing body and face and all of these aspects in a performance. And right now we don't do that. It's just prompts to speak the lines. So there's technology out there which could capture body motion and could capture the audio and store it. But right now you're just getting prompts. Very simple proof of concept for this stuff. Well, I mean, that's the gist of this project. The multimedia component is in terms of learning. I think this could open Shakespeare and some of these ELA units up to kids who maybe wouldn't otherwise be interested. And this follows from that big study I talk about in the paper from Squire about preparation for future learning. How exposure to video games or simulations or these digital models before a unit or before a lesson will really increase the retention through it. And that wasn't even with virtual reality. That was with just a simple little 3D game on a tablet or computer. So I think that, instead of not necessarily performing the whole play, or not necessarily doing this every day in class, right? We don't want to plug kids into the matrix, but having a kind of VR experience where a teacher could lead kids through, or students could explore the stage by themselves and act out a scene, or take part as a main character, where there's not always time for everybody to do that in a reader's theater or a traditional classroom. Here, every kid can do it. Every kid can play every part if they want to. They can revisit it. They can explore on their own. So I think it gives a lot of power to kids, and also perhaps it gives something where students who aren't traditionally motivated by text, who aren't strong readers, a really cool way to do Shakespeare without being forced to really dig through the language, but to hear it, to move with it, to interact with it. And the technology's there. I mean, this is going to be happening. So that was the whole gist of the project. It's really opened my eyes to the potentials and the limitations and the feasibility of a lot of this stuff. So this was a quick overview. And I think there's a lot more questions. There's a lot more rich theory stuff in the text component of the project site. So take a look and write back. I really appreciate any feedback. Thank you.